Hi, I'm Kiara Bailey, and this is Getrichasfuck. Last week, right, we went over consistency being key. And I wanted to elaborate a little more on that because I think that not only should I be consistent and continuing to talk about it, but it really is such an important part, right? It doesn't matter if you do something one day. You know, if your goal is to do something once, it's not really a goal, it's just an action step. It's just something that you're doing. Really, the whole purpose of it is to set a goal and take actions consistently enough to end up getting there. Right? And I'm not talking about those kind of small goals that we set for ourselves. I'm gonna do this week, I'm gonna do that this week. I'm talking about the big things that really matter, the things that we have to sit down and we have to make a plan for because maybe we don't quite know how we're gonna have it happen. Those things we have to sit down, we have to research because maybe we don't quite know what it entails or what all the pieces are, like starting businesses or, you know, doubling or tripling our income or even just making, you know, more money than we did last year. A lot of times we don't know what that involves. And so we have to sit down, do some research, make a plan, and then stick to it. So think of it this way, right? You're training to do a marathon. Very few people that train to do a marathon are going to be able to run it their first time out, right? The goal is not to show up that day and run it because you might die, right? You don't have the ability to do it. You're probably gonna quit halfway through if you even make it halfway. Right? With running a marathon, which is a pretty big thing, the goal is to run the marathon, but it's the setup and all the action steps that people do, right? So if you've ever talked to somebody who like runs marathons, does triathlons, does bodybuilding competition, those are just all like very physical things and have a real tangible like result to it, right? They train to get their goal. They have to show up every day and take the action steps to get there. You can't train for a marathon for 3 weeks and then screw up and like fall off and get sidetracked and then come back the week before the marathon actually is and run it. And this is a lot the same with our goals. A lot of people will say they want something, right? They'll start out on the process. Maybe they'll get like really excited and do the research and get as far as the research and then they get sidetracked. And they kind of fall off a little bit of like the goal. They're not consistent. And so what happens is then all of a sudden one day, 3 weeks later, 3 months later, 3 years later, you're like, oh yeah, I wanted that thing. Okay, now I'm gonna do it. Great, right? There's no better time to start than any time. But just don't think that you're gonna get it by the day that you said you wanted to have it if you screwed off for 60% of the time. So this is a very challenging concept, I think, for most of us because we really want to set a goal and think about it and then just have it happen. It's a very natural kind of human thing that people want instant gratification. They want it to have the most amount of comfort with the least amount of work, right? Completely normal. But I'm telling you, it's not going to fucking work. And that's just based on results, right? If you look at your life and you say, I have everything I want, fantastic, right? You don't need to be listening to this. You need to be going out and helping other people. But if you look at your life and there's still stuff that you want, then the thing you have to then look at and you have to think about is, why do I keep getting sidetracked? What makes me not be consistent, right? When I'm inconsistent in going after my goal, why is that? What are the things that come up? And then what you can do when you're really honest and you get super in touch with that, then what you can do is then you can plan ahead. You can say, week 3, I always get sidetracked with this thing, or I know every time I set a goal, I get bored. Okay, great, right? Then the next time you set a goal, you can say, okay, what are you gonna put in place as a part of your plan that's gonna prevent you from getting bored? What are you gonna put in place on week 3 that's gonna prevent you from doing the thing that you always do? See, we all like to pretend that we're perfect and we like to pretend that we're amazing and fantastic and to everyone else, right? And like, oh, I have this, I got this, yeah, I can do that. I get anything I set my mind to. It's like, but do you really? Like, do you? You know? And only you know that, right? And then also everybody else around you who can see your results. So if you want the results from it, right? It's consistency. Set a goal, make a plan, and then consistently work at that plan. Right? You can't get something in a day. It's not going to happen. And it's not going to be, I had the goal for 6 months and I did the work on the first day and the last day and I somehow got it. Doesn't work like that either. As always, like, subscribe, share this with somebody who you think would love this message, and let's get rich as fuck.